Mississauga homeowners and potential homeowners, I've got you ready right here. July 2025 numbers are in. This is our August update from Mississauga. You guys have actually been watching the Mississauga updates quite a bit now that I've individually done the Brampton and the Mississauga videos alongside the whole GTA. So we're going to continue with these every single month for you. And we're not going to make you wait this time. We're going to start with the condo category because it's the most popular one. Of course, after we do the general numbers here. So when we're looking at the numbers that we just got in for July, our numbers are looking a little bit lean in some categories, but median price was down 4% to 916. Transactions, we dropped 5% there to 504, down from 532 transactions. The sellers actually lowered their median list price 2%. So we only had a 2% difference between that sale and that list price, which is nice to see. We also saw some listings coming off the market. So we saw, 11% less listings. And you might ask why. It's July, it's summertime. People are just really not all that interested in moving or selling their home in July if they don't have to. Now, how does that overall stack up to the year to date? Well, median price is $925 and they are $955 if you're looking at last year's numbers. That's a 3% reduction. Nothing crazy, but when we're looking at transaction volume, we're down 17% there. That's almost 700 transactions less year to date. And then of course, how many more listings have hit the market? 11,000 compared to 9,300, so 17% increase. So all these numbers are great, but this is a median and this is also capturing all the different types of housing. Let's get into the condos. I know you want to see them. We're gonna hit that condo first. All right, so those Mississauga condos, we're gonna go combo first with 1 and 2 bedrooms together. 523 is the median price, very similar, 1% less than last month. 139 transactions. So we saw 13% more transactions on the condos. That's good. Swallow up just a slightly bit more of that inventory. We did see 5% less hit the market as well. So we're chewing up a tiny bit of that inventory, which is nice to see. Comparing that to the year numbers, we're at 540 compared to 590. So we've dropped off on the price about 8.5%. Transaction wise, we're down quite a bit, 23% less transactions on the condo side of things. This is just really coming from hesitancy on the buyer side of things for condos, thinking, hey, is the market going to get worse before it gets better? And now they stand on the sidelines, hoping, waiting, and we don't know what's going to actually happen with the market. And then when it comes to new listings, of course, more people are trying to sell a condo because they might want to get out or they might want to move up. So we are seeing an 18.1% increase in the condos that are actually hitting the market compared to last year. Let's break that down for you guys though. So 1-bedroom condos, we're not going to be up from last year. As you can see, year to date, we are down 70,000 on the 1-bedroom condos. We only have 102 transactions year to date in all of Mississauga. Keep that in mind. Compared to 153 last year, a 33% reduction. And then of course we have, we have 32% more listings that have hit the market so far this year compared to last year. Can these numbers change? Of course, month to month, these numbers do fluctuate, but we're getting more listings hitting the market. Then we are sales happening. And what happens is we have lots more inventory than we need, and buyers are going to get some better deals, and sellers are going to have to price their homes much, much better to get them sold faster. Now, new listings just this month, we had 78 compared to 82 last month. So similar. Price-wise, compared to last month, the 1-bedrooms actually fell off $25K from last month's sales. So we had 15 sales, less price, and then last month we had 12 sales and actually a little bit of a higher price here. That was the 1-beds. 2-bedrooms, you might be interested in as well. So let's take a peek. 520 was the median price this month on 79 transactions. We actually had pretty big increase here. So we had 16% increase on the amount of transactions. That ends up being ultimately 9 more, or what do we have? 11 more transactions that have actually taken place. So it's a big increase on 2-bedroom condos. When we're talking inventory, new listings is on par. We had the same amount in both months. Let's look at the yearly numbers. We're still down. So 535, of course, 594 was what the last year's numbers look like. That's about a 10% reduction in the 2-bedroom pricing. Not only that, your 2-bedrooms also have higher maintenance fees, so you're losing money there, and you're losing money, unfortunately, on the price of the sale. Transaction volume, we're seeing it a lot less here, 21%. So 464, last year we were almost at 600. And the new listings, of course, 1900 compared to 1523, so 25% increase. Terminations, obviously there's a big struggle here to sell some of these 2-bedrooms. Almost 1,000 terminations so far this year, and last year we were 61% less. So 583 of those, and that's a 61% increase, obviously. Now, condos, they're a big problem right now, more than anything else, because there's just so many of them. And do you want to live in an area where it's just condos everywhere, hard to move around? Do you want to live in a newer condo, an older condo, have a higher maintenance fee, a lower maintenance fee, and then you have so much inventory to choose from? The buyers are just like, maybe I just can't make a decision because I have way too much choice going on in the condo market. Let's take a look at the detached category here, because it's the other category that has the most transactions aside from the condos. Median price on detached, now we don't care if it's just a 2-bedroom because there's not very many of those. So we're going to look at the whole housing category here. So median price this past month was 1,297. So for, we'll call it 1.3, down 25 grand from last month, 2.1% less. Year to date, 1,334, and we were almost at 1.4. So about $70,000 less, which is a 4% drop in price. The transaction volume is also less. We're seeing transactions down 12% month over month, and year over year, 17% less transactions are actually happening as well. Of course, inventory is going to be up because it always is up right now. 3974 compared to 3402. That's 16.8% increase. Terminations overall here on the detached side of things, they're a little bit more mild than the condos, but there's still a lot. There's 45% termination increase year over year. But detached homes, of course, if you are watching these, we've seen 70% come off this year. The year before we saw, I think, 100 plus come off. So the detached homes are becoming slightly more affordable. And I know I say affordable and you see $1.2 million, $1.3 million, that's still not really affordable, but I use it in context of where we were and where we are today. Some of you in the comment section down below might be saying 50% less from here is where it needs to go. And that's your prerogative. Right now, this is where the numbers are, and it's more affordable than it was last month. Semi-detached, always a popular category because people can't strive for the detached in Mississauga because there's too much of a gap between the condo to get to a detached, or even a condo town to get to a detached. A lot of the time there's a lot more steps to take and house moves to get to where you want to be. And what the semi-detached category looked like was 82 transactions compared to 68. So they saw a 20% increase. Inventory was 7% less, which is actually good that we're seeing less inventory. And we swallowed up a little bit of that existing inventory, which is nice. Look at this. This is only a 4% drop from last year. So it's holding pretty solid at 970,000. Last year we were at 1,010,000. Transaction-wise, we're not a stretch off. So 453 to 486, it's a 6.8% difference. We are seeing, of course, the new listing increase of 26%, but we're swallowing a lot of it up, which is nice. And, you know, terminations, similar to the Brampton video, if you watch that, semi-detached homes are interesting. We see a lot of the semis get listed at a price that's to attract a bidding war still, because the buyer pool for semis is quite large. It's got a lot of options. You can have condo town, or freehold owners going to a semi, and also a detached wanting to downsize. So kind of everybody could potentially want a semi-detached. So you see people listing it at like $799, knowing it's worth $850 or $900, and maybe it doesn't work out. So then they terminate it and relist it at a price that makes sense for them. Let's take a peek at what the townhouses are looking like. These are freehold townhouses, no fees. This month, we're actually slightly up from last month, the $999 to the $945 last month. Transactions, we saw 4 less happen this past month here, so 21% reduction in transactions, and we had the same amount come on the market. So 56 came on last month and this month. Year to date, also pretty solid in terms of holding strong, a 5% reduction, 960 to 1,010,000. Transaction-wise, also not a big difference, 109 to 110. This is as close as it gets here. So almost on par with last year for the transactions. New listings, we do have an increase of 24%. That's 354 to the 285. So a little bit of an increase there, but overall, townhouse is looking actually pretty solid for the market that we're in. We've done the condos, and now let's take a peek here to finish off at condo townhouses. You're going to notice there's not really a big difference between the condo town prices in some of these cases here. So let's take a peek at where we're at. Condo townhouse, we're going to get down to 726. It's still a lot of money to go from a condo to this. Yes, it's more affordable, but still it's quite high, and a lot of this can get into the 800s as well. But median price this past month, 726. Transactions 79 to the 103 last month. Of course, it's a reduction, 23%. Small numbers give you big numbers when it comes to the percentages. Year to date, we've seen that falter about 50K here. So a little bit more than some of the other categories, down to 755 median. Last year, same time, we were at 802. Transaction-wise, we're down 19%. So 545 to the 674, so 130 transactions less year to date. We can catch up if, the market does get a little bit more active. And then new listings-wise, 11% increase, which is about 180 more listings hit the market up to this point this year. So ultimately, breaking it all down, a lot of the stuff you're going to hear from me in a month like this compared to last month's data, it's very similar. The numbers are a little sluggish. It is summertime, so people are busy with their families, they're busy with their kids, they're prepping for the kids to go back to school, or maybe the kids are in camp. There's a lot going on. As you can see, I'm a dad. Those are the first things that come to my mind. But when you are in a summer market, expect numbers to be a little bit slower generally in the real estate world. So this is not all surprising. We are seeing, of course, numbers still drop. What we're going to be looking for as we get the numbers in August is more of the same. September, October, we generally will get a fall market. We didn't get our spring market, so who knows? But we generally get a fall market, which is better than the previous few months. People are more active in the real estate market typically. I don't know if that's going to come, and that's going to be something interesting as we're tracking this data here to see if the prices do start to trend upwards or if they keep taking the step ladder lower and lower. Because if we miss the fall market and we get into the winter market that is the slowest, then we're in for some trouble. And we're already in trouble. So I'm interested to see what you guys think of the numbers we have here. Are they just more of the same? Is it a little bit of a bland update for you on the July numbers? Or did this help you make a decision if maybe now makes more sense for you to get in or out of the real estate market? As always, the banner on the bottom here, feel free, scan that code, book an appointment if you want to ask some questions, or if you just want to text me any questions, the number's on there as well. Hope you had a wonderful long weekend. I'm going to see you in the next video. And if you're interested in learning more about getting into home ownership, this is a first-time home buyer video that's going to walk you through steps 1 through, God knows, it's 26 minutes. So it's going to take you a while to get through it. But maybe you're just thinking, hey, I want to sell my home. How do I do that in this market that's really not ideal? This video might give you some extra tips on how to do that properly. Thanks so much for watching this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.